Hey guys, I'm Nina. This is Creative Minds Homeschool. Welcome back to my channel. And today I just want to give you a very quick, I'm probably going to speedy talk through this video because I'm really pressed for time and can't make a long one. So I just want to tell you what's been going on in our homeschool this week and kind of some good things that we've done and kind of some things that we're working on and changing up. Okay, so one of the things I told you, I'm trying to find our balance and our flow. I was trying to go with the kids' flow, and what happens with that is we keep not getting enough done, as far as we keep losing the fun because everything is slow and lackadaisical, and we get to our afternoon time when we would normally do like an art or a history or science, whatever, and we don't have time to do any, we just have time to get going, and then it's like, okay, 2:30, let's wrap up, you know. So, and I need school to end at 2:30 because the baby takes a nap from like 2 to 3:30, and I have to wake her up for 3:30 or she won't go to bed at night. So yeah, so it's like a hard break at 2:30. I don't want to be doing school past then because Mama needs a little bit of downtime and quiet. So yeah, so that's what kind of that working with their flow was not productive enough. Then we try to be relaxed homeschoolers, like what do you call it, unhurried homeschoolers. That really didn't accomplish enough. Everyone was happier, but we're not in school for happiness. We're in school to get what we have to at least accomplish, the bare minimum, and we weren't even making that. So, you know, and I know everyone has their own philosophy about all that. I'm just telling you, for me to be satisfied that we did enough to call this a full school day, that, you know, there's a level of productivity, and you probably know what I'm talking about if you've been homeschooling for any length of time. You know what I'm talking about. You know when you've done a day and you feel like we accomplished something today versus we played around and we're very goofball today. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to find the balance between the two. Like, yeah. So I've been struggling to find that balance. So I talked to one of my friends who's I would call her a very relaxed homeschooler in the formal schooling of things. She is just a different type of teacher mama than I am, in that she makes life their classroom. I'm not that good at that. So like where they might sometimes be in their schoolroom and a lot of the time not be in their schoolroom, she pulls learning from everywhere and can make everything a learning experience. I'm not that kind of mama. I have too many kiddos, too much going on, and I just am not that way. So if we're not sitting down intentionally doing school, they might be learning on their own some through whatever, because you know we're not vegging out on tech over here. You know, they might be reading a book and learning on their own. Everett does that a lot, but as just in general, you know, I have to be very intentional. So I know that about me, but I told her kind of what was going on of, you know, I just cannot find the balance here, and I feel like we're not getting enough done and we're not getting to our fun stuff that we like to do. So she was like, well, why don't you approach lunchtime as your hard break, just like you have a 2:30 hard break. Make lunchtime your hard break of all of our core subjects need to be done by this time. Good idea. So I work better with a boundary. I'm just that way. I'm very free-spirited, but I need a lot of structure. Like I basically felt like our unhurried homeschooler week was me being a free-spirited homeschooler, and that is one area. It is so important to me that I give them a good education, that I don't feel good when I'm just totally free-spirited. I have to have that structure and hold myself to a very high level of accountability, or we're just not doing what we need to do. So I took her advice and I approached it that way, that I just told the kids, look, we're not getting enough done. We want school to be fun, but we're missing out on the fun because we're dragging through our core subjects that have to be done. Those are the most important thing. We need to make them a priority. They don't have to be a drudge if you don't make them a drudge, we need to get them done and do them well, and then after we come back from lunch, we can get to some exciting stuff. So we're all shifting our mindsets to that, and so far so good. So this past week, we worked on getting Bible, handwriting or copywork, math, spelling, and language arts done by 12. And most days we were able to do that. Our piano lesson day, I kind of flip-flopped our schedule around, and we did language arts when we came back. And that worked out beautifully, just because I was like, okay, we've done our geography lesson during our core subject time. When we come back, that's all we're doing, and we're done with the day. That worked out. So that's kind of how we're approaching things. And so far, so good. I really, honestly, I knew, because it's very hard for us to regroup after lunch collectively. We're all just like, ugh, you know, we're just ready for some chill time. But you just can't chill your way through life. You have to, there's a time for chill, and it's after 2:30. So, some things that helped us out, though, we switched up. We shelved the Kingdoms and Classification Science unit for a later time. And we pulled out the Intro to Energy Science unit, which is a little bit more hands-on. And that has been thrilling to Everett. Like, this last week we built an atom out of Play-Doh. And then we made several atoms and made them into molecules with toothpicks. You know, Play-Doh and toothpicks, they were all about that. That is the level of hands-on that we need in that time. And they were very thrilled to have that. So we did a science lesson this week. We did a history lesson this week. We did geography. We did 2 science lessons and 1 history this week. So next week we will probably do 2 history, 1 science. I don't know. We still have not figured out that flow. But whatever. Friday was our fun Friday. So basically what we did was math, and then we hung out at the park with friends for the rest of the day. Great nature study. Everett found a lizard at home and brought him to the park and showed him a good way to make friends at the park. Bring a lizard. They just had this big group of kids all walking around and talking about good social, good PE, that they need that too. Mama sneezed her head off the whole entire time. And baby, like, I don't know, crawled around the park. It was gross. But she had fun. We all had fun. It was great. Except for allergies. That was the only drawback. But then we came home, and I had told them, I had planned to come home and do art that afternoon. And basically art being like decorate the house for fall, whatever. Well, we got home, and I was so tired from sneezing a million times, and my eyes were watering, my nose was draining, you know, just from being in an allergic environment for 2 hours or more. I just was worn out. I was just like, look, people, I've been chasing a baby around the park and sneezing my head off, and I don't feel good now. So I don't think we're going to do that. Well, they took it upon themselves to draw and decorate. So they drew leaves and pumpkins and scarecrows, and now like every door in our house has little pumpkins and scarecrows and leaves taped to them. So hey, they decorated for fall. They had art, and I didn't have to do a thing. It was awesome. They used their imagination and creativity. What more could I ask for? So that was a really good fun Friday for them. And that was our week pretty much. We changed up science. We changed up kind of how we approach our schedule, or at least our mindset of what needs to be done when. That has really helped us. The only other thing that I'm still kind of in the back of my mind going, is this working for this kiddo, is the Good and the Beautiful spelling. It's working for 2 of my kids great. They seem to be retaining what they've learned for the most part. And then I have one little one that's just, she's going through the list much slower, and they're not really sticking all that great. I haven't figured out how to help her with that yet. One thing I had thought about doing was like weekly or daily having like a review word. Okay, write this. Can you spell this review word correctly from the old list, just to keep them fresh in their minds? I haven't done that. I've been wanting to do that. I think I'm just going to have to buckle down and make myself do it. It's good for everyone to have a review. And that way, maybe it would keep them fresh in her mind. But it's stuff like the word they. T-H-E-Y is T-H-A-Y. Every time she writes that word. And it's not just that one. There's multiple ones. So, I'm like, why is this not carrying over? And we even had a EY lesson this week in language arts. And in the moment, she understands it. She grasps it. But when it goes to just writing down in general, it just doesn't carry over. So I don't know if that's something is maturity level. I don't know what that's all about. I haven't figured that one out yet. And I'm not really ready to make a switch to anything else. So I'm just kind of in the back of my mind going, are we going to have to do something else supplemental for this kiddo? Another thing for language arts, if you're familiar with the Good and the Beautiful, the way the language arts program works, we are in level 2. We are making good progress as far as what we're learning, but the progress is very slow. I cannot drag my people through a lesson. I can't drag them. I refuse to drag them. I pretty much do as much as I feel like was productive and what they can handle. And if we make it through a lesson, great. That is always my goal and always what I want to do. But there are lessons, like sometimes it'll be like a front and back of a paper, and sometimes it'll be 5 pages long. Well, yeah, we're not going to make it through a 5-page lesson. We're just not. So we just have to kind of do what we got to do, kind of thing. And just space it out. So we are like on lesson, I want to say, I think we just finished day 44, 45, and we're on lesson 20 something, if that gives you any idea. So our progress is slow, but I feel like they carry over what they learn for the most part, with the exception of the not grasping the they word. It sounds like it's spelled T-H-A-Y. I mean, makes sense to me, right? Well, it's not. So that's kind of what we're doing. Also with the Good and the Beautiful, I didn't mean to tell you about that again. I meant to tell you this. Oral narration. They're supposed to tell me, because they're not expecting them to write big long things yet. They want them to tell me something and me write it down. Well, guess what? Mama is not in school, and Mama doesn't want to do that times 3. Call me lazy, I don't know, but it's easier for me to say, hey kids, write about this topic, and let them write it, like no pressure on spelling, on punctuation, and then we go back together and I'll look at it and correct it and make sure it's right. That's just an easier way for me to do it, you know, and it is what it is kind of thing. So that's a little minor thing that I've tweaked for that curriculum for us. Just works better for Mama, if I'm honest. I mean, they would love for me to listen to a story and write it down myself, but no, I'm just not going to do it. So, another thing, I told y'all at the beginning of the year that we went to binders instead of notebooks, because the way they've used notebooks in the past is very wasteful. Like they'll go through and just flip it open and mark pages with like 1 mark. And then I don't know what that was for, but I can never use that page again because it has a mark on it. Drove me nuts. Well, now the loose leaf paper in the binders is equally driving me nuts, because I'm constantly saying, pick up your loose papers before we leave the classroom. Pick up put your papers in your binder. And then I'll go look in their desk and there's like paper and paper and paper and paper that has not made it to the binder. It's driving me nuts. So I think for spelling and maybe language arts, we're going to go back to notebook. Just so it's all in one place. They don't have to track it down. It can go in their drawer and easily come out for those subjects, I think. And then for science, because we don't have as much paper for science, we can still use that. For growth mindset, when we do that occasionally and have a worksheet paper to do with it, we can put it in the binder. It'll be less taxing than every day they do spelling and have to chase that paper down after the fact. So that's kind of what's been going on with us. And I would say locking us into that 12 o'clock hard break and that 2:30 hard break, it's making our lives much more easy and peaceful in general. So, and we were so glad to make it to our break. We're on fall break this week. And so I'm just looking forward to cleaning my house some and enjoying my kiddos and being relaxed. And then worrying about getting to soccer in the evenings. Yeah. But, yeah, that's all. So I'm going to wrap it up here. If you like this video, feel free to give it some love. I would love to hear how you're doing down in the comments. So hit me up and tell me how your week's going and what's working for you and what you're tweaking and all that good stuff. I love following the people who comment regularly. I love to hear from you. So, yeah, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye. Has gone. Pretty much we've been out of our house 4 out of 5 nights during the school week. Some, just depending on rain and all that. But, these soccer peeps are serious. They're, like, killing me. Because, like, I pray for rain all day long. And it'll rain, like, right before a game. And they won't call it. And then they're playing in mud. I'm like, people, let's not be so diehard. Let's take a break. Let's have a rain out. But no. We've gotten to the soccer field. And it's, like, raining on the soccer field. But not like a thunder and lightning storm. And they're like, let's go. I'm like, oh, it's raining though. Like, I don't want to be at a soccer game with rain. Like, I don't know. I'm so not an outdoorsy girl. And I'm also highly allergic to whatever. When the minute the seasons change and fall comes, I cannot be outside without sneezing my head off constantly the whole time I'm out there. So it makes it kind of really not great. Anyway, that was not a school-related update. Wow, chatty Kathy. Back it down, sister. All right, sorry. I'm going to go back to my homeschool topic. That was just my soccer rant. Okay. Not cut out to be a soccer mom, apparently.